Gewehr 98 is seen by many as one of the best rifles of World War One. Today, I want to give you my perspective on it as an infantryman. I want you to pay attention to those targets on my right and left side. They are average human size on the torso, so you can see how they compare to me. They are slightly smaller, but this shouldn't be a problem. We will do some shooting in the moment, but just memorize how they're looking like. We are at 100 meters, which is roughly 110 yards, and I'm going to engage those targets in just a second. But right off the bat, you see I have a problem. What is your problem, you may ask? Well, the markings on my rear side base are starting with 400 meters. So as you can imagine, if I'll just aim with that setting at the target from 100 meters, I am going to overshoot the target. The doctrine, the solution, the soldiers were trained in the situations like this: aim at the bottom or just below the human torso. That's why I want you to memorize me with those targets down the line, down there. Okay, now let's go to the kneeling position. I'm going to put the round into the chamber and aim carefully just below that first target on the left. And that's a beautiful hit. As you can see, it's a kill right in the center of the target. Let's eliminate another one. Again, I escaped a little bit to the right. Good kill. And beautiful third kill. All three targets eliminated. So far, so good, right? Now imagine that me and my German buddies, Klaus, Ulrich and Elric, we are assaulting a British trench line. We are in the final stretch, 100 meters away from the trench. Suddenly, shots are ringing and my teammates are getting mowed down by the British Bob machine gun. I have a clear shot at the British Bob, but target is only partially exposed because he is hiding in the trench. And nobody is stupid, nobody is going to jump out from the trench to expose the whole target. How difficult it is for the soldier right now to think about the doctrine and try to imagine where is the bottom of that torso if you just seeing the little bit piece of the target. Let's find out. Nothing, miss. This is easy shot, guys. From 100 meters, this is easy shot. But I overshot the target, and that's probably a very normal reaction. Unfortunately, every second when I'm trying to work this out, that British guy is mowing down my squad and people are dying. So I'm getting splashed with the body parts, brain and everything. I better make that shot or the German attack will collapse. So now I'm going to aim much lower. And I think that was too low. I'm not sure. I'm going to take third shot. Nothing. One more just in case. Fourth shot. The last cartridge in the magazine. And that was a hit. That was a hit. So I got him on the fifth shot. And guys, I'm telling you, this is an easy shot if you have a sights set up correctly. But with this system, I'm not so sure that this was such a great idea. As I was saying, guys, yes, I did hit the ground. You can clearly see the mark, and that bullet went somewhere. Let's go to the target. Let's see how we did on the target, because it turns out that I did a little bit better than I thought I'm doing, and that's because I couldn't really hear any dings from that plate. But if you will count, we got 1, 2, 3 hits. First shot for sure was a miss. I overshot it, and that shot into the ground was a miss. Still, guys, this is only 100 meters, and if you would have a correct sights set for 100 meters, I can guarantee you that all these 5 shots would land on the target. And in our imaginary scenario, people would live. Maybe I would save Hans Kloss and he would be alive today. Unfortunately, the way how these sites were set up were forcing soldiers in a very common scenario, attack on the trench line, and you got the targets hidden, lower and exposed only partially. The German soldiers, they had to imagine where that torso may end on the ground and aim below in order to hit that partially exposed target. That's rather difficult, especially if you will, if you are in the heat of the moment and the battle is happening around you, and each second of the delay probably, possibly, is causing your friends to lose their life, right? You don't want to be in that kind of scenario. Some people complain that the Gewehr 98 was rather long rifle, and that was affecting the movement, for example, in the woods. Tactical movement, I don't think so that this was a problem. Yes, it is a longer rifle, but as you can see, if you're holding it in both hands, really there isn't much to worry about it. The scenario where I can see where this can become a little bit more problem is when the soldier will shoulder the weapon and that longer barrel will be sticking out a little bit above the shoulder. And then I want to demonstrate you. I will walk into that little branch here. So when you're going in a thicker bush environment, and what can happen, you will clear that branch, but as you can see, I'm clipping with the barrel that branch, and that can create some problems and unwanted movement of the vegetation on the move for the infantryman. But if this truly would be a tactical scenario, I can assure you that the soldier would rather walk with the rifle through the woods like this, so that vertical position of the rifle wouldn't be a problem. And if I would notice as an infantryman, and I'm not in a combat scenario or anything, but I have to go march through the woods, I would probably just hold the rifle like that. That's very comfortable. The rifle is not heavy, and move through the area like of that instead of just shouldering of the weapon. So I don't think so that this is an issue, at least not for me as an infantryman. I don't think so that that length of the rifle in this scenario was playing any difference. Where rifle length was the problem, it was during the trench warfare. And you have to remember, guys, the trenches were really not very wide. Why they were not wide? Because if the sharpener shell was hitting the trench, you want to limit the damage. So they were not very wide, and they were zigzagging, right, to break the pattern of the splatter of the sharpness. So by design, when the soldiers were entering the enemy trenches, they were encountering the corners. We do have a corner right here, and I can hear, and I want to show you guys right away, the rifle is cleared, right? There is no round in the chamber, no nothing, and we don't have a lot of room. You have to remember the trench was that much wide. We had a trench here, trench wall here. So if someone will say that you have to start slicing that corner, you can't, because you cannot really go like that. That's not going to happen. You had no room, and with that length of the rifle, you couldn't maneuver it that way. And if I'll just go like that, all I want you to go behind the corner right here, and you can see how I'm telegraphing. See how I'm telegraphing? You will see that someone is coming, that British or French or US soldier, they could be right there and just wait for me, and they will know right away, because there is nothing what I can do, right? This is, you see already the beginning of the rifle. You know I'm coming, and I'm turning, and now I can make that shot. And that was an issue with this rifle because of the rifle length. So the soldiers really didn't have a lot of options to go. The German soldiers didn't have a lot of options to do. They could probably, like if I would just have it on my hip and engage the trench like that, or I can go like this, but then I'm dropping the rifle, right, because I have to maneuver around that corner, or I can go already and raise it. But all these scenarios are not perfect, and they will cost me a delay to clear that corner because of the length of the rifle. Again, and I know people will freak out in the comments, but you have to remember, Ola, come over here. They have to see it. So the trench would be that much, you will have that much room in a trench. And if you will go to France, you can actually tour the trenches from World War One. They are still there. But it was in March. So imagine you have a wall here and you have a wall here, and you have to maneuver with this broomstick right now and go behind the corner, because the trenches were zigzagging, as I said, and you have to eliminate the threat over there. That was a very, very dangerous job. And unfortunately, in this scenario, I think Gewehr 98 was not the best choice. But this is what the German troops often had to work with. And this is what was happening on the Western Front and on the Eastern Front as well. So not the easiest job to do. Overall, I would have no problem running Gewehr 98 in World War One. I think that this was really, really good rifle. Now, the question is, was this the best rifle of World War One? I honestly don't think so. There are some flaws, and especially with those iron sights, which I think they were directly affecting the performance of the German soldiers, especially in that trench combat mode, or the length of the rifle had an impact on the performance as well during clearing the trenches and the CQB. I think there were other rifles at that time out there which were better suited for that modern combat format of World War One than Gewehr 98. But still, the action is rock solid. I have nothing but the praise for the Mauser action. The overall rifle design before the World War One started, I cannot blame Germans for going with the rifle style like that, right? The World War One was a big wake-up call for almost everyone, and the warfare changed. So it's hard to blame the Germans for entering the war with the Gewehr 98. Now, the rifle is also very, very precise, and you can have a decent accuracy with it. I have no problems engaging targets at the extended ranges with this rifle. I think that this is exactly where that rifle truly shines. Unfortunately, from what we know today from the history, the World War One was not about shooting at the extended ranges very much. It was almost a quite opposite. And because of that, I would rate the Gewehr 98 on a scale from 0 to 10. I'll give it a solid 7. I think this was a good rifle, but it was not the best rifle for World War One. Please let me know in your comments what you think about my take on this, what you think about all the rifles from World War One, and do you agree with my take as an infantryman on this rifle? As always, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.